Lately I've been getting a few very good questions about the 18650 lithium-ion batteries and how to use them. And since they are actually very good questions, and before I started playing around with these batteries, I did have a lot of those concerns myself. So I'm just making a little video on the kind of basic stuff. Well, this is a standard AA battery. It's just for size comparison. The 18650 batteries are called 18650 batteries because of its size. It is 18 millimeters in diameter and 650 millimeters long. That's why it's called that. Secondly, the nominal voltage of these cells are 3.7 volts. The word nominal means kind of middle. That means that when it's nominal 3.7 for these batteries, the full charge is 4.2, and discharged it should be around 3.2 volts. So it's kind of the middle. When these cells are around 3.2 volts, they are not going to give you any more juice. As any type of cell battery like these, the metal jacket around it is negative. So even though it's a plastic here, if you peel away the plastic, that part all the way up to here will be negative. There's a thin, very thin insulating capsule, or whatever you want to call it, that's in between the positive and the negative. So if you make a little mark here, you will have a negative. And that could be very dangerous if the plastic is damaged some way. Then, how is it possible to connect more of these together? Well, you have two options. First, you can put them in series. That means that the negative there, plus there, negative there, plus there. As I told you, each cell is 3.7 volt nominal voltage. This should be around 4 volts now, because it's slightly discharged, and this one should be about the same. If I take my little multimeter here, hopefully you can see that, put on the light. If I measure it, it will read 3.94 volts. The second one is that one is 3.94 volts as well. But if I put the positive on that one towards the negative on that side, that charge will add together. So it's 3.9 plus 3.9, that's about 7.8 volts. But it will be 8.9, but anyways. So if I I'm sorry, 7.9. My maths are really bad. I'm sorry. But now it's reading 3.89 because it's 3.94 on that one and 3.94 on that one. And if you add those two together, you will get 7.89 approximately. But the real interesting thing is that even though that one is connected together, if you measure that one, even though it's still connected, you will get a reading of 3.94. And that is kind of like the basic thing about the so-called BMS, that's battery monitoring system. A BMS will have a little cable inserted here. It will have a cable here to charge it, and here to charge it, and a little tiny cable in there, because the voltage on that cell will still be 3.94. That voltage will not change. It's the same with that one. So if you, even though those are connected, if you measure only between those two, you will get the only single cell voltage. The thing about lithium-ion cells, or lithium cells in general, are that they're not self-balancing. If you have nickel cadmium like these, you will find them typically in your little cordless drill or something like that. These are stacked together because they're really cheap. They do not need a BMS because they are self-balancing. Lithium is not self-balancing, so you need actually to balance them so that that cell there has about the same voltage as that one. If you don't do that, if you don't balance them, they will get totally out of balance. So that cell there might have 4.2 volts and be even trying to charge a lot, and that one might be only have 3 volts. So the charge on the whole system might be very, very high, higher than that one can handle, and you will get a total meltdown and thermal runaway on it, and it will catch fire. So you need to put in a little bit of extra juice on that lead if that one is low. That's the whole thing about the BMS. You can add on more batteries all the way actually to whatever voltage you want, and from every single one you will need an extra battery lead to your battery monitoring system, the BMS. I've now put 4 cells together, and kind of like basic math here. Sorry about that. That's about 4 volts, 4 volts, etc. So that's 4 times 4, right? But since they're not fully charged, I would assume that would be around 14 volts, hopefully. Hope you can see the multimeter here. And I'm reading about 15.79 volts. Well, that's option 1. You can connect it differently, because now you will have a very high voltage compared to only one cell, but you can't draw that much current out of it. But if you don't need that high voltage, you can put them together in parallel. So I'm going to actually connect them. Just draw it. You will then connect one cable from the plus side to the next plus, to the next plus, to the next plus, and then out. And the same on the negative side. So all the negatives are connected together. In that way, your voltage will be basically the same. And since maybe this one has maybe 4 volts, and this one has maybe 3.7, and this one 4.2, etc., they will balance themselves out. You don't need a BMS when you're connecting it this way. So you can put on full juice up to 4.2 volts on this system, and you don't need a BMS. If you're using this for instance, a power pack, you will only need a tiny little control chip to up the voltage from the voltage whatever this may have, from 3.2 up to 4.2 volts, to the USB connector voltage, which is 5 volts. So you can make yourself a very nice little power bank for very little money, but you can buy them off the shelf for like, I don't know, $5. You can get yourself a little plastic cover, like connector box like this, and you can stash them in. just beware polarity so you don't connect it the wrong way. If you do connect it the wrong way, these actually can give up quite a lot of juice, and they might burn very well. So, on this plastic box, there's 6 small leads that you can weld your, or not weld, solder your connectors on, and also your little power control chip. And when you're fiddling around with these, beware that it can give out quite a lot of current. So you need to use proper thick wires. These here that usually come with battery packs like these, I feel that they are way too thin when you're playing around with it, because you really don't know what kind of power you want to draw. So I would recommend at least 0.85 square millimeters if you're powering something like you're using the power pack for a netbook or anything larger than a cell phone, basically. If you're using it for a power tool or whatever, you really should get a lot thicker wires, like maybe 2.5 square millimeters. And when you're if you're ripping apart a laptop battery, you will notice something very peculiar. Usually there are 6 cells of these types here, but the battery pack states that it's giving off less than 20 volts. And since there are 6 of these and the nominal voltage is 3.7, that would equate to around 24 volts or something. So why is it so? Well, the reason is that these cells are in both series and parallel. So here you've got your 6 cells, where each pair is connected together, and only a lead over there. So since these 2 are in parallel, that will give out around 4 volts, and these 2 are in parallel, that will give out around 4 volts, and these 2 are in parallel, that will give out around 4 volts, and these 3 kind of packs are in series, so it will be 4 plus 4 plus 4, and that's only 12 volts. That's why it's stating only like 12 volts on your battery pack.